Hello, today we're going to be having a look at the play Macbeth and looking in particular at the theme of nature and how it is changed and disrupted as the events of the play unfold. If you are thinking about your exams, this will be particularly helpful in your preparation for your paper 1 section A. So that's the extended response to Macbeth, to the Shakespeare play we've been studying. Okay, let's start by just reminding ourselves of the theme we'll be having a look at today in the form of a question. We're going to be having a look at how nature is corrupted and disrupted in the play, by whom, as a consequence of what, and why that's so important to the play as a whole. Okay, so the first reference we're going to have a look at in terms of nature being disrupted is the stage direction that is repeatedly seen when the witches meet, but first of all introduced in that very, very first scene of the play. And that's the stage direction thunder and lightning. So as a Jacobean audience, you'd hear the sound effects of the thunder, and there'd be some sort of effect of lightning too. So you'd, as an audience, appreciate the really chaotic weather that was part of the witches' meeting. Now this is really important because it shows the unpredictability and the ominous nature of the supernatural creatures that are on the stage, these witches, and it reflects their gruesome and unnatural deeds that they commit as well. And weather, as part of nature, is mirroring that right from the beginning and every time the witches meet. So nature being disrupted by the supernatural, so the unnatural, is a really important motif throughout the play. Then we move on to how nature is seen to be disrupted or corrupted by other characters too. So after Macbeth is given the prophecies by the witches, after he's told that he'll be Thane of Cawdor, and he realises that he is awarded this title, and after he's told that he will become king, he commands the stars to hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. Stars are a really important feature of nature, of the heavens and the skies, celestial bodies. And potentially the light of the stars could be seen to symbolise hope and truth. However, Macbeth rejects this. He tells them to hide your fires. So he tells the stars to put out their light. He doesn't want light, maybe truth or hope, to see his evil ambitions. So he wants to hide, to shroud his sinful thoughts and ambitions under a cover of darkness. The fact that darkness is linked to evil and treachery throughout the play is really, really important. And the fact that he he refers to darkness as he rejects the light is significant here. It links to this next quote too. Lady Macbeth, after she is informed of the witch's predictions, calls on the spirits, but also commands thick night to pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell. Now what she's doing here is she's invoking darkness, like Macbeth. She doesn't want light to see her evil ambitions and her evil actions. And potentially she even calls on darkness to hide the knife as a physical weapon that she might use to commit a murderous deed. Thick night palling thee in the dunnest smoke of hell. To pall something means to sort of cover it with a dark cloud of smoke. And the fact that this particular smoke covering the dark of night in a smoke from hell is incredibly important because it reflects that sinful, evil nature of the deeds that she wants to commit. Just after this quote, she refers to heaven, that she doesn't want heaven to peep through and tell her to stop these acts, these deeds that her and her husband are going to commit. And so contrasting hell and night with heaven shows just how wicked and sinful she is, and she's trying to take control and inflict darkness on nature. Then moving on to Act 2, we have Ross noting that it should be daytime, so by the clock 'tis day, yet it's dark. So he uses the metaphor, personification, dark night strangles the travelling lamp being the sun. Now that verb strangles is a really violent verb, and it suggests that darkness has violently murdered the sun, therefore leaving it dark even during the daytime. Darkness here then, again, is used to symbolise evil and treachery, and it really mirrors this really violent regicide, this violent murdering of the king that Macbeth commits. So it shows that as a result of that murder, as a result of the disruption to the natural order in society, God, king, and the citizens below him, the nature itself, day and night, has also been disrupted too. It's not just the darkness and the light that's been disrupted by the regicide, though. Lennox in Act 2 notes how unruly, so how chaotic and how violent the night has been. We get the impression of potentially great storms, but also he points out that lamentings could be heard in the air, along with strange screams of death. Now, to lament is to really passionately express grief or sorrow, and it's almost as if nature itself is feeling that grief and that sorrow. The adjective unruly, of course, reveals the chaos that nature has been thrown into as a result of the murder of the king and the disruption to the great chain of being. And therefore nature is reflecting that chaos and that overturning of the natural order. And nature itself is screaming and crying as a result. And then the last reference we're going to have a look at in terms of nature is to do with Duncans Forces. So how the animals who were once beauteous and swift, so very well respected horses and fast, had turned wild in nature. And it's also said that they had eaten each other, they turned on each other. And again, we have this idea that the actions of nature here, in this case the animals, being strange and gruesome, are mirroring the unnatural events taking place in the human world. Of course, the regicide leading to the natural world being thrown into chaos too, once again. So those are a set of interesting references to use if you wanted to talk about how nature is disrupted and why it's disrupted, with links to various themes such as evil and sin, and links to ideas such as the great chain of being, the disruption of the natural order as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope that helped with the theme of nature. And if you would like some more help with your English language and literature revision, do subscribe to the English at Penrice YouTube channel.